In today's video, we're going to take a look at how to sell your book, planner, or journal without building a website. Before we get started, I want to clarify that today's topic is not about downplaying the value of having your own website. It's about spotlighting helpful platforms and tools that may be of use to you as you're getting started and exploring all of your options. With that said, let's get started so you can decide what's right for you. First off, I want to recognize that some people may feel like creating a website is overwhelming, unnecessary, and too expensive for their situation or current budget. With that in mind, this video will spotlight possible solutions that may meet some core needs without requiring that extra time, money, and energy that just may not be available right now. Before we look at how to sell a book or product without a website, we need to identify the website features that could be of use to you. You might consider pausing this video to identify which website features and functionalities listed here would likely be useful for you. Doing this may help you see if the following platforms and tools will satisfy your core needs. If there are features that you're looking for that are not listed here, you might want to note those as well. So the first list are website features that were commonly recommended by other authors. You'll want a homepage, contact page, an about you page, a newsletter sign up, a place for people to sign up if you have a newsletter, featured books or portfolios. You'll want to have links to your resources or references. Maybe you want to list book club questions, and you may want to showcase past interviews and articles that you've published. And you may want to make your event or speaking schedule public so people can see it and follow along and attend the events that you're at. What came to my mind is having the ability to sell merchandise and your books on pre-order. If you have a speaker package or a media kit, making that available on your website. Having a blog that can be really great for SEO. Featuring your YouTube channel or videos, and featuring memberships like Patreon or Skillshare or Teachable courses. If you have a podcast, featuring that and announcing new episodes, for example. If you are doing shout outs and recommendations that would be helpful for other authors or for your community, you may want a place for that. So like doing a shout out for your book cover artists, web designers, author resources, anything that would help the people who follow you in your community. And also a place for your awards, recognitions, and reviews. These are not exhaustive lists by any means, but they provide some solid basic ideas. We're going to look at 3 platforms that have many of the functionalities that websites provide, including analytics, the ability to sell products and services, and options to integrate with other tools like MailChimp, Zapier, and more. The 3 we'll look at is Beacons, Stan, and Linktree. We'll start off by looking at Linktree as an example of a landing page so you can see some of the features and functionalities that platforms like these provide. We'll also take a look at a basic overview of all 3 platforms so you can get the basic details of each one. Here's an example of a Linktree page that I just created. This is the mobile view. And here's the desktop view so you can see what that looks like as well. You can see there's a brief description here up at the top, some key links, and then information on different platforms and featured products. So, for example, this top button here says tumblers. If I click on that, you can see the products that are listed on my Shopify store. This is because Linktree allows you to connect your page to your Shopify store. There's also an option to accept tips and donations, as well as create a mini contact page, which is nice if you do not want to make your email address public, and that can be helpful to avoid getting spam. These are some direct links, like this would take you to an Amazon listing, and this would take you to my YouTube channel. And this tab allows people to see my latest YouTube video. So that just gives you an idea of what this platform can do. Just some options, some examples of what this platform can do. And the appearance is highly customizable. You could insert an image to go as a background behind here. And they have a lot of different options here. This is the style for these buttons and drop downs. You can choose colors. You can choose different fonts, just to give you an idea of the options. You can also set up integrations and insert a Pixel, Google, or TikTok ID as well, so that you can analyze your traffic. And the analytics tool appear to provide a good perspective of your traffic flow. Of course, there's no data here because this is a brand new page, but this is where you would see where your traffic is coming in from. Is it coming from social media or other platforms and different types of activity? It's helpful to have a directory page like this so that people have easy access to what they're looking for, your YouTube channel, products, contact information. It's all easy to see and access quickly. An overview of Linktree so you can see how it compares to the other options. It has many of the same types of features, including integrations with Zapier, MailChimp, as well as Shopify. There are 4 plans. There's the free version. There's $5 a month, $9 a month, and $24 a month. The transaction fees are consistent with the other platforms, and the payment providers are PayPal, Square, and at some point Stripe too. Let's take a brief look at Stan. Stan allows you to drive traffic to your listings and other marketplace platforms like Amazon KDP. You can also sell digital products like ebooks and membership subscriptions. And people can sign up for your newsletter or schedule an appointment with you. As you can see here, this is an example of a basic sales page created by Stone Fredrickson, who's a popular TikTok creator and specializes in helping people get started on TikTok. His setup can give you an idea of what a Stan page could look like. You can see his page and explore it more in depth by visiting the video description. There's a link that will take you right to his Stan page. You can also see that Stan's monthly plan is $29 a month. Transaction fees appear to be between 5 to 10%, and the payment provider is Stripe. All right, let's take a look at Beacons. Beacons allows you to add links to featured videos, collect email addresses, and link to other websites and social media. And although it's not shown here, you can sell products like ebooks, for example. You can schedule appointments and bookings, accept tips, and more. You can also use Beacon's Web Builder tool to incorporate your own domain name, set up an SSL certificate, and create multiple pages. And as you can see, they provide a free plan as well as a paid plan. The free version just means no monthly fee, but there are transactions fees for selling through your Beacons page. The entrepreneur plan runs $10 a month plus those transaction fees. Beacons offers Stripe and PayPal for payment processing. Amazon's KDP allows you to publish and sell your books, planners, or journals from Amazon's website. There are major advantages to this, including free shipping for Prime customers. And of course, there's some drawbacks too. If you want to know more information on the pros and cons of KDP, check out the KDP versus Lulu Express video linked in the video description. Here's an example of a listing that I recently created for a journal. The basic premise here is that you would self-publish your book, planner, or journal through KDP, create a listing, and then drive traffic to that listing to generate sales. And you can link to this listing from other platforms that you use to help drive traffic to this listing as well. It's pretty easy to get started, and there are no upfront costs. You pay royalties to Amazon only at the time a purchase is made. Here's KDP's informational page that will help walk you through the process. The link to this page is in the video description below. The second platform that we'll take a look at today is Etsy. This is a listing that I just created on an empty Etsy shop, so you can see what it looks like to sell a print-on-demand product. You can sell print-on-demand products like journals and planners via Etsy by connecting your Etsy shop to a print-on-demand fulfillment company like Printify, for example. And connecting Etsy is very easy and can be initiated from the Printify website. We're at printify.com. Basically, you create a Printify account and then select a product from the catalog. We're at journals and notebooks now. And then you design it and save it to your Printify store. And once it's saved to your store, then you can connect it to Etsy by connecting your Printify shop to Etsy. So when a customer places an order from your Etsy shop, Printify will then receive that order automatically because Etsy is connected to Printify, and Printify will produce the product and ship it directly to the customer. With that said, Printify is not a path for printing and selling books. If you wanted to sell your book on Etsy, you could purchase a small inventory of your book via Lulu, and then when an order comes through on Etsy, you would ship a book to your customer. Another method that I've heard people use is when an order comes through on Etsy, they then place an order on Lulu for that book and have it shipped directly to the customer. And I've also heard of people using the Shopify Lite plan as a conduit to connect Etsy to the Lulu Direct app, which allows them to sell their books print on demand. I personally haven't used any of these methods, so I'm just sharing with you what's come up in my research. Here's an example of an Etsy shop owner who sells her own books, just so you can see what that might look like. Customers can select a book title from this drop down here. If you're also an artist, this option may be appealing as it would allow you to sell your journals and books alongside your artistic creations. Amazon and Etsy are not the only platforms you could sell from, but I wanted to focus on them in this section of the video because they're popular and they tend to come up when discussing marketplace platforms. Having said that, Etsy comes with a whole host of requirements and best practices. It might look like a simple platform, and in many ways it is, but there are a lot of details to consider if you're going to build a successful Etsy shop that also meets Etsy's guidelines, which can be extensive. I'll link to an overview of the pros and cons of Etsy in the video description in case you're interested in exploring further. And I also want to point out that one of the major advantages of selling via marketplace platforms is that you do not have to manage sales tax like you would if you were selling your products via your own website. I'm not a sales tax expert, so I won't get into the details here, but it's something to consider when you're weighing your options and identifying what might be right for you. We're going to compare the Amazon KDP journal with a journal that I purchased through Printify, specifically through their partner Spoke Custom Products. So just right off the bat, you can see a few differences. One spiral bound and one is perfect bound, which is Amazon's kind of standard binding. It's their most cost-effective option. You can see the colors are very similar. They're not exact, but they're both high quality. The Printify version is matte and the Amazon version is glossy. And then there's also a size difference here. So if you were going to purchase journals or have them made through Printify, this would be a more typical journal that you would see, although they have a lot of options. And the Amazon journal is very standard. Now we're going to compare paper quality. Right now we're looking at the Printify journal. And as you can see here, there's 3 different pen types. So this is a permanent marker, this is pencil, and this is ballpoint pen. And on the flip side there, the pencil and the ballpoint don't come through just the permanent marker. So it holds up pretty well. You can feel an indentation from the ballpoint pen, but other than that, it does a fairly good job. Now we're going to compare that to KDP's journal. As you can see, there's some markings and there's permanent marker on one side and then pencil and ballpoint pen. And the permanent marker comes through, the ballpoint pen doesn't, and neither does the pencil, but you can feel an indentation with the ballpoint pen. I feel like the paper between these 2 journals are very similar. As it relates to the back of each journal, this is a very thin cardboard material for the back, and it doesn't do much for the journal. So in general, the journal feels pretty flimsy. It's not coated. So it doesn't really have a sleek professional look, and it's pretty flimsy in your hand. With the binding on the side though, the spiral bound, it does make it really easy to open and to write in, versus the Amazon KDP journal. It's very sturdy. It's got a nice hard cover that is, I'm sure, water resistant to a certain point. But the issue with that binding there then is it's a little harder to open, and you have to use one hand to hold it open and the other hand to write. So something to keep in mind about the differences. You might consider ordering a journal through Amazon KDP and one through a Printify partner to see which one will work for you and what you prefer. Keep in mind, Printify has a lot of different partners that they work with. So depending on who you select, the print quality can vary. And that means the graphics on the front, the quality of the print, the actual journal itself, it can all vary. And speaking of quality, there's also some quality issues that can come along with Amazon's journal. And if you want to know more about that, watch the Amazon KDP versus Lulu Express video that's linked in the description. So you can see some examples of some of the damage that can happen to covers during transit and during the printing process. Although building a full-on website may be overwhelming, creating a collection of basic and simple web pages on a free Google site could be much simpler for you and also help you provide important content to potential readers and customers. So let's take a look at some example Google sites that were provided by sitebuilderreport.com. University of Toronto. So this is the homepage, very simple. Another page that they put together is research. And you can see they have titles and text and imagery, and it goes on like this for a few sections. And then down here, they have more text, and then they've embedded a video from YouTube. The second example site that we're going to take a look at is this one called Google Drawings. We're on the home page, and already right away you get an idea of what the website is about. It's very inviting. It pulls you in and grabs your attention. And their homepage is different. It extends beyond an initial image, and you start to get an impression of what the site is about. And you can scroll through the spectacular artwork. So you can see Google Sites can be put together in a way that are incredibly professional and well done. And a lot of that here is because of the quality of artwork. So if you were creating a website, maybe you'd be featuring your products or your books or imagery from, books that you're creating or articles that you put out or whatever it is that's important to you. But here, being an artist, they're really showcasing their art. And this is another page they put together. Again, this is very simple. The Google Sites come with templates, and they basically have just filled out the template with an image and some text and a link. So it's very easy to do that. If you have the text and the images that you want to put on your website, it's very simple to put something like this together. Before we walk away from the conversation of Google Sites, I just want to show you that you can embed an Amazon product into your Google site. So I just created this just moments ago and really haven't done anything to it except adding an image and embedding a YouTube video, which is super easy. You just click this embed button and you can either enter a URL to embed a link, or you can insert an embed code, which is provided on your YouTube channel. Video has a embed code that you can get just by clicking the share button, and it will show you the embed code, and you just copy and paste it into here, and then there you go. And you can manipulate this to make it larger, smaller. You can move it around and put it anywhere on the site, just to kind of give you an idea how simple it is to do some of these things. And this is an image from a journal, the journal we saw earlier on Amazon. And then that's a buy button that's really easy to insert just by clicking that button and then entering in the name buy now, and then entering the link to the journal. And there you go. And this can be moved around your link. So if you're part of the Amazon affiliate program, there's this bar up here that shows on your Amazon account. But by just being on the product page here, you can click on text to get a link to text or image, or text and image. I'm going to click that. And it shows this is an embed code. That's what that looks like. So it populates, you just right click and copy it. And it's giving you a preview of what this is going to look like. On this page, you go to embed code, paste, hit next. And then that's what it looks like. And you just say insert. I mean, that's how simple it is. And so when someone clicks on this from your website, so if we go to preview and they're on your website and they click on that, they'll be taken straight to your book, planner, or journal on Amazon. So of course, this isn't anywhere near, an end product that you would want, but it just took moments to do something like that. So it's just putting a Google site together is really just like putting together a puzzle. You just decide what information is important for you to share and how many pages you think you want. You want a contact page, you want a home page, you want to be able to feature your books. So that still is going to take some time, and it's up to you to decide whether that's going to work for you, but it's free to get started. And so just maybe one of the next steps you might think about doing is to look at a YouTube tutorial that's linked in the video description that will show you from beginning to end creating a Google site. And I think the video is about 15 minutes, so it's not very long and gives you an idea of what can be done and the simple steps to do it. Let's briefly touch on some other platforms and tools that may be useful for you. Listed here, medium.com, ghost.org, blogger.com, tumblr.com, and Canva. They have a web builder feature that I haven't used myself. But there are some YouTube creators that say that these sites are useful. And so in the video description, I've linked to some of their videos that outline the pros and cons of each of these platforms. The majority of these sites allow you to create a blog that will allow you to use your own domain name. There are some other advantages and drawbacks, but if your main concern here is creating awareness and driving traffic to yourself as an author or a subject matter expert, one or more of these platforms might be of use to you. And then over here, along the way in learning about these different platforms and Google sites, I came across elfsite.com. And this allows you to embed reviews, videos, forms, tools, and content from social media into your website. It also integrates with Google Sites, Shopify, Blogger, Ghost, Tumblr, Kajabi, Squarespace, Wix, and more. Plans range from free to $75 a month. And you can check out elfsite.com to learn more. Let's take a quick look at Zapier so you can see how useful it can be. For those of you who are not familiar with Zapier, it's a tool that allows you to streamline and automate processes between platforms. In other words, Zapier allows you to connect a platform like Stan with YouTube or Zoom or Calendly. In practical terms, if someone purchased a course or ebook, Zapier could automatically email them a series of pre-written communication and information. Or if someone filled out a survey, Zapier could transfer all of the survey results to a Google spreadsheet. Zapier automates and streamlines processes so you can focus on doing other things. Here are just some of the platforms that integrate with Zapier. Basically, connecting Zapier to your landing page or Google site will help you automate processes, which can save time over the long run. Here are the plans and pricing for Zapier. I'll link to this website in the video description so you can explore further and learn more. If web design and web building is intimidating to you, Fiverr.com may be a helpful resource. As you can see, you can find experts in web design, creating custom graphics, and more. This is the drop-down menu for graphics and design. And we're at this section, which is web design. Just scrolling down, you can see a variety of experts here displaying some of the work that they're able to provide at varying costs. If you just select one and see the exact services that they provide and their expertise, anything that they'll need from you to create the graphics for your website. And you can see some of examples of work that they've done before. Having a fully functional website from the get-go is a valuable consideration, which is why they're so commonly recommended. However, their power and effectiveness rely tremendously on how well they are built. As you can see from these features alone, websites are a major tool, and you can build a valuable online presence by marketing your book or products and continually linking back to the same place, your website. Over time, this effort will create real concentrated value and will help prevent confusion and scattered traffic. You can expand the items that you sell without having to direct people to yet another platform. For example, today you may be starting with a book, but over time you might sell other merchandise that complements your brand, expertise, or writing genre. You can feature and link to podcasts that you are a guest on, events that you'll be speaking at, and you can point to resources that might be of help to your community. The opportunities are, in a way, endless. And with that said, the time, money, and work associated with websites can feel endless too. So to be clear, websites can be a powerful tool. But as we've seen today, there are a variety of tools and platforms that can be helpful as you get started. The second thought to keep in mind is don't be afraid to get creative. Maybe one or two of the options shown here will meet many of your needs. You could also immediately benefit from some of the platforms shown here and also create and customize your own website on your own timeline. We all have different needs and circumstances. And I've seen some people generate income with a strong social media presence on TikTok, for example, and a landing page like the ones shown in this video. Other people will need and benefit most from a fully functional website from the get-go. What platforms do you use to sell your book, planner, or journal, and what do you like or dislike most about them? Share your thoughts, tips, and questions in the comment section below. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching.